we're back again. Today's topic is based to reproduction in vertebrates, strategies and adaptations. We provide good, useful information here for grade 12 learners or students, not student candidates. This portal for successful candidates, obviously, as it is mentioned on our logo. This is the Smart Grade Academy. This is so found good as it is. It sounds good as it is. So if you are new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe, like, share and comment down below when you need some clarity of this topic or based to this content here with me today. So before further ado, let's get into it. The reproduction in vertebrates, strategies and adaptations, exploring the fascinating diversity of reproductive word diversity, the difference of reproductive strategies across the vertebrate kingdom, from aquatic spawning to live birth. Let's get into it. We provide a good demonstration. Here we're having what is reproduction in vertebrates. It's about to go down. Sexual reproduction fundamentals. Vertebrates reproduction involves or includes the fusion or joining of male and male gametes, sex cells, through sexual reproduction during sexual intercourse, creating or manifesting or making genetic diversity significant for species survival and evolution. The change over the time. Most vertebrates have separate sexes with specialized reproductive organs, which is there is a little unique or different organs adaptation updated reproductive on this species adapted to their unique, which those organisms are adapted to their unique environmental challenges and survival strategies. They know how to survive in the environment, even through the challenges, and they are adapted already as they are unique to their environment. Fertilization mode. The method of fertilization, there is only external and internal, depends primarily on the organism's habitat and lifestyle. Aquatic environments allow external fertilization, while terrestrial life necessitates internal fertilization to protect delicate gametes from desiccation. Here we go. We're about to explain, to break it down here. The types of fertilization. Here we go. External fertilization. This is the fertilization that takes place or the process where the fertilization occurs outside the female. This breeding takes place in water, not outside the world of water, or not outside the world. The larger amount of eggs or sperms are released. They produce large amount of offsprings. The eggs produced are enshelled, so then they can't dry out on the land. In this species, there is no parental care for the young ones. This is based to fishes, sharks, and all those things that lives inside the water. Common in aquatic vertebrates like fish and amphibians, eggs and sperms are released simultaneously into water where fertilization occurs. It requires aquatic environment, large number of gametes produced, lower survival rate per offspring. And there is a lot of predators inside the water. Their survival chance are lower. Then we have internal fertilization. Non-internal fertilization. This is a form of fertilization that occurs inside the female. The sperms and ovum are protected from drying because they are always inside the female body. This is it human being or animals, different animals. For instance, impala, humans. The other example can mention a wild dog. There's a lot of animals, or as looking they used mammals and birds. So I was mentioning the specific species. So here we have few eggs and sperms are produced because there is bigger chances of fertilization occurring. Yeah. So here we have on the dashboard we have typical of terrestrial vertebrates include reptiles, birds and mammals. Sperms is deposited directly inside the female reproductive tract. Adapted for land environments, fewer gametes needed, higher survival rate per offspring. Why the difference? The evolutionary shift reflects the need to protect gametes and developing embryos from harsh terrestrial conditions, including dehydration, temperature fluctuation, and predation, as I mentioned the predators. So this is the different types of the strategies in vertebrates. So this is a better illustration of oviparity and these other ones. This gives a better explanation here. Oviparity, maybe oviparity, but they say oviparity. The embryo develops inside an egg laid outside the mother's body. The egg contains all nutrients needed for development. Example, this is the egg of example bird egg. Then this example bird, most reptiles, amphibians and monotremes. Then here it explains in a better way. This is a form of sexual reproduction whereby eggs are laid outside the female. Fish are the example. Specific examples are fish, frogs, birds, reptiles, shelled eggs, and egg without a shell. Shell without the shell, how can it be possible? As the shell, it is known as, which is protects the shell. It is something like the round outer cover of the egg called the shell. So on fish, the fish is part of ovovivipary. This is the form of sexual reproduction whereby an egg is laid inside the female body until aged. This is the example of what I mentioned. The egg is not attached to the female. The egg means whereby the offspring is about to take the outside wildlife. Eggs are protected from predators, e.g. oviparous are some sharks species. So this is the example of shark species. Embryo developed inside the eggs that are retained within the body's mother's body. Young hatch internally or immediately after the egg is laid. Example: some sharks, rays, snakes, and lizards. Viviparity. This is more likely to be. This is a form of sexual reproduction whereby embryo develops inside the female body, and it is non-risk or food through the placenta. This is the whereby the food is the baby or the offspring is this, as it is fetus. It can be fed through the placenta. This is more likely to be humans. An embryo develops organs and is called fetus, as I've explained. The placenta sends oxygen dissolving nutrients to the fetus. It collects the carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste product from the fetus to the mother. So this is give the better explanation with me. Sorry, I have missed to explain the viviparous after the ones I last demonstrated. It was mammals pregnancy. The embryo develops inside the female directly through a placenta or a similar structure, resulting in live birth. Example: most mammals, some sharks, and reptiles. It's more likely to be like humans, but it's not exactly based to what I've mentioned. Now is the most thing that I have been waiting for. This is the most moment. And then here we have the amniotic egg. The amniotic egg, a terrestrial innovation. The amniotic egg represents one of the most important or significant or essential evolutionary innovations. Accessing vertebrates to successfully colonize terrestrial environments. Protective membranes. Amnion fluid-filled sac protecting the embryo. Within the amnion, there is amniotic fluid. We call it amniotic fluid, which prevents an embryo from drying out, responsible for fetal growth and movement, prevents the mechanical injuries to maintain constant or average temperature. And in this example, e.g., fetus in a female's reproductive organ survives through a placenta. Yes, I've mentioned it. And then the chorion, the function of chorion. Let me show you. This is called amniotic amnion. This is amnion. Then we have chorion, outer membrane for gas exchange. Chorion allows gas exchange. What is the most thing? This is the chorion. Then here we have allantois, stores metabolic waste. This is the It is stored in metabolic X. Yes, the allotase. The allotase collects the waste product. And then there is yolk sac, provides essential nutrients. Is the allotic yolk sac. This is a yolk sac. There's a difference in colors. There's many colors there. This structure prevents desiccation, provides complete nourishment, and allow efficient gas or enough gas exchange, critical for development outside water. Found in reptile, birds, eggs-laying mammals. The amniotic egg was the key innovation that freed vertebrates from dependence on aquatic reproduction. Developmental strategy: precocial and artificial. On this one, artificial and precocial. I have the better notes for it. The understandable ones that are utilized in grade 12. Imagine not giving you the correct one I've used in grade 12. It sounds not being fair to the candidate. Let me show you. Yeah. Precocial and artificial development. Precocial: organisms that are born active. They can make short movement after birth. Eyes are opened after birth. They are covered with feathers as we have the precocial young. There is, then they call it a bone. The examples are ducks. This is the one of the example. Ducks, horses, they're bears, not the bears. No, not bears. This is the genuine pigs. Then born or aged, relatively mature, mobile, and able to feed independently shortly after birth. They have opened eyes, as I've mentioned, develop the motor skills, and they are often covered in fur or down. Artificial youngs. Artificial organisms that are born passive after birth. They cannot walk after birth. Their eyes are closed after birth. They cannot feed themselves after birth. Those are called artificial youngs. Born helpless and completely dependent on parents. They typically have closed eyes, late mobility, movement, or unable to walk for a little distance, and require extensive feeding and protection during early development. Example: songbirds, rodents, carnivores, humans. Ecological strategy: the development strategy is closely linked to habitat safety, food availability, and predation pressure. Precocial development suits open environment where mobility is crucial, while artificial development allows the larger brain growth and extend learning periods. Then we have parental care in vertebrates. I've mentioned a lot of them here before. Don't know what's here. Viviparous, the carriers of antenna. This is the part of whereby provide this information for at least for better structures, because at the first there was no better structured pictures on to demonstrate. This is the end of our chapter here, of our topic. I hope it is much clear and understandable. This is the critical. I've used the critical demonstration so then every candidate can be able to understand the information based to this topic. So I'm so thankful for your support. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below if you have some inquiries based to this topic. This life is science for grade 12 candidates. We out.